Awareness is like having a home cooked meal every night of the week. It's impossible to eat frozen dinners with a corn ice cube in it. Or let's try this one. Awareness is like getting your first real check as a teenager and not being able to go back and do household chores for allowance. Like, what is that?
Hey, peeps, you have entered the Unstuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons podcast, where I have intentional conversations that raises your awareness, which releases your innate abilities and leads you to purposeful action. You know there's more to life and you're worthy of it, and yet you feel stuck. This is your sign. Unstuck Yourself with me, Crystal Simmons, certified coach, corporate facilitator, and dope human being. I'll be here every week. Will you?
Thanks for coming back, peeps. So let's talk about last week's episode. You heard from Shivani Bigler, neuroscience student at Columbia University. And we discussed her studies on social recognition, the importance of it, and using printed out MapQuest routes at night. Running up to strangers, thinking it's your friend and saying hi and embarrassing yourself, entering social gatherings from a totally expansive and exciting approach, and so much more. Yes, it was a fantastic, just variety salad of topics. So if you haven't heard that episode yet, go ahead and run on back to episode 65, Tickling My Fancy and My Career with Shivani Bigler. Before we dive into today's episode, awareness is an IRL client debriefing of the ELI, which stands for the Energy Leadership Index. It's an experience with me, Crystal Simmons. I am an Energy Leadership Index master practitioner, certified professional coach, and dope human being. Y'all heard the intro. But the purpose of you experiencing the ELI is, well, we'll get into that. So you'll be able to experience during this episode how the ELI works, who it's for, and why. So many peeps are asking for their chance to experience this easeful, transformative, enlightening, empowering awareness enhancer for their careers, their relationship, and personal development or professional development. But hold please, it's a Crystaltown update. Y'all, I have been watching some really good television. Those who I have spoken with in the last couple of weeks, y'all already know I share the Hulu series Unprisoned, starting the Kerry Washington. And geez, I'm actually starting it all over again. I binged it in 2 days. I don't expect to get an award, but I expect y'all to understand. This shit was dope. So I'm telling everybody to watch it. I'm asking them to reflect and hit me up so we can discuss it. And I'm even sharing this series with my one-on-one clients because some coaches refer or recommend books. I do listen to books on Audible. However, if I find a TV series that is healing, it is thought-provoking, it's got me like, oh my gosh, or me and my husband pausing the episodes to have a further discussion, I'm going to share that with other people to experience that as well. It's right there. It's right there. But I'm really enjoying this series and the discussions that me and my friends are having. So Michael and I decided to do a purpose lane episode on it. So hurry up, catch up, binge watch it, tell your homies to watch it, take notes, and we're going to recap this dope ass episode very soon. Again, that's the Hulu series Unprisoned with Kerry Washington. You can search her name and it'll come up. I believe it's 8 episodes. It's so good. Okay. Now, I want to also kind of pivot to another television show I'm watching. I'm so glad I stumbled upon this one. It's on Netflix because I watched the first season I think it was last year. It was the year before. I can't remember. All the dates are running together. But this is the Netflix series Sex Life. Now, the first series was very eye-opening. It was thought-provoking, highly entertaining. But season 2, listen. Listen. A whole new world. So many perspectives, scenarios, and plot twists and lines, and I just wasn't expecting it. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. And to experience life day to day in your own little world, and then to experience other lives for entertainment as a means to process your shit, to heal your shit, to address your shit, is a gift. You're literally already paying for it. Gift yourself that. And that's basically the shit that I'm on. Entertain me and teach me something while I'm kind of just sitting and couch surfing. So, last thing that I'm watching is the newest movie from Puss in Boots. And I meant to look up the title, but y'all know. It's the latest one. It is so cute. It's so good. It's funny. It's witty. It's freeing. It's playful. All I'm gonna say is, because I have so much time to share, I just that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not even gonna keep going. Just stay tuned, and we will recap the Unprisoned series. And if y'all enjoy this, maybe we could do more. Let me know what you've been watching. And if you watch any of these 3 that I listed, I would love to know. Let's go ahead and get into today's episode. Y'all, we're at episode 66. Awareness is ... The definition of awareness is the knowledge or perception of a situation or fact. So let's begin with my favorite question. Why? 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 If you're new here, pull up a seat and be prepared for a treat. Wait, let me do that again. If you're new here, pull up a seat and be prepared for a treat. That was much better. So crystal triple A's have been proven to get you unstuck. The first A is awareness. Say it with me, y'all. Awareness. Number 2, abilities. Third A is action. Lights, camera, action. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I don't know why I keep saying it, but it's fun, so I'm gonna keep going it. So how can you move? When I move, you move, just like that.
Hell yeah. Hey, DJ, bring that back.
So how can you move if you don't know where you're moving to? Or, better yet, where you're moving from? That is why the first A in Crystal's triple A's is awareness. It is so important. So let's say you are saying, I am ready to be promoted. I am ready for that senior level management, and I'm ready to expand my business. Or I'm ready to expand my business. Maybe you're doing what I do. Corporate stuff, and you're doing the business stuff. However, your communication with others is sparse. You are highly disorganized. And maybe you haven't even taken any form of professional or personal development courses or webinars or just watched a YouTube video or anything for years. And you think you are well informed, you're up to date with the ins and outs of the world. My question is, how? 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 You don't know what you don't know. And how can you help yourself know what you know and don't know if you're not raising your awareness? The most important thing for you to know is how you show up on a day-to-day basis, and how you show up when you're triggered, when you're activated, when you're annoyed, when you're frustrated, when you're tired. Because those 2 people are not the same person. Think about this, right? You just finished eating a fulfilling gourmet meal in a beautifully decorated, cozy ambiance restaurant while being catered to at every step of the meal that you don't even have to pay for. Think about that. Think about that person who just finished eating versus the person who's triggered, activated, annoyed, frustrated, tired, all of that. They are not the same people. Or let's say you're a person who really enjoys pleasure and you're consistently being pleased, feeling pretty good, right? Versus the same you who enjoys pleasure, but you haven't been pleased in months or years. That's two different people. That is not the same person. Now you tell me, how helpful would it be for you to know which you is showing up at work when that project fell through, or when you weren't considered for the promotion, or when you just finished having an argument with your significant other, or when you just finished like yelling at your kids and you got to go into work, or when your spouse is trying to whisper sweet nothings in your ear, but the man at work has pissed you off, so you're declining yourself pleasure because of the man at work. Y'all, don't let the man or woman keep taking and taking and taking from you. The man could be the woman, it could be the human at work, but it is that person that seems to drain every ounce of your sanity as soon as they start breathing in the same room you occupy. I feel your pain. I feel you. And I invite you to feel that shit. There's nothing wrong or right about it. It's all about knowing if this is your choice to react this way, or are you reacting this way because you're just used to it? And unfortunately, you're not getting the outcome you want. The ELI, the Energy Leadership Index, this is a tool that helps you increase your productivity to do the shit you want to do, or have the energy and confidence to say no to the things that you don't want to do. Instead of avoiding, instead of making the other person the enemy, instead of repeating those same unhelpful thoughts, scenarios, and the could'ves, the should'ves. Remember, shitting on yourself is shit. So we're moving ourselves out of the shit, right? Right. You with me? At this very moment, I invite you all to visit crystalclearpurposes with an S.com. And it's the slash that's going towards this next word. I always do it. I think it's the forward slash. But crystalclearpurposes.com/services. SERVICES. And this invites you to take your next step. And while you head over there, I want you to listen to this very dope and special client of mine that you've heard from before on the podcast. We met during a guided hiking tour for my husband's birthday, and we immediately hit it off. So this was her first time working with me as a client and me as a coach for her. So many gems were shared from her taking that first step and starting the conversation of how can she experience this. She's been wanting to increase her awareness. She's also been looking to promote in the company she works for, which she has recently started a new position, I think a new job. And it's been so exciting because she spoke about this with me a few months ago, and we've been just having a few conversations here and there. And her offering this debriefing to be shared with all of you is a gift. She's a giver. And rightfully so, I hope each of you receive this gift with open arms, open mind, open heart. She understands that when one of us are enlightened, a little bit freed, empowered, that it gives the rest of us the permission to move forward in whatever way, in whatever action we see fit for ourselves. So everyone, give it up for Amanda for being brave, courageous, nervous, so giving, and overall just amazing human for this gift. Please enjoy snippets of Amanda's energy leadership experience with me. So when you received your results, Amanda, what were your thoughts?
It felt about right, I think. I think energy is something I've become only recently more attuned to. And I think I have periods of like really good, like high energy, high vibrations, but then my average came out to I think around 3.2 or 3.3, which on the little circle on page 4 of the results was right around between forgiveness and compassion. Which felt right. It felt right that I was out of those center ones of like apathy and anger, but that I wasn't quite up at like things like peace, for instance. That felt like a right zone for where I exist most of the time.
And I think it's so dope that you actually went to your results just now before I even instructed you to. And you're like, now turn to this page, all right? So I'm gonna scroll and meet you. And we're gonna talk about that too. You said it was about right. What were you hoping to see?
I guess I'd like to see myself in that band with a higher score that's self-transcendence. Yeah, peace, joy, and then absolute passion are some of the higher levels up there. I think I'd like to see myself. Peace in particular sounds nice. I don't think, of all the positive things I experience day to day, I don't think peace is one of them.
And that is huge because a lot of people have said that too. Like we always want to be better, we want to improve, and it does allow you to actually see yourself like, hey, no, that's where I want to be. And how can we accept that part? Because again, there are no good or bad, right or wrong, best or worse. Now that we're here, what do you want to get from our time together?
I think I want to understand more about the kinds of energy and how to be mindful of one's energy.
So the understanding of the different variances of energy and also being mindful, being aware is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, because I think that awareness is the first step to kind of going from that self mastery to self transcendence.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know you listen to the podcast. Awareness is the first A of the triple A's for Crystal. Like I share the triple A, awareness, awareness. You can't do anything without knowing. And then it's the abilities and then action. Like I said, you'll have the awareness with who Amanda is, how you show up, and then your ability. No, I want to show up here. Don't want to show up that way there. And then taking that action of now putting it into fruition. We are now moving on to part 2, which is the overview of the assessment and the purpose. And I want to circle back because one of the episodes I had was with Chiki, and she said sometimes peace is loud. I'm like, oh shit. Because we always assume peace to be like, calm, soothing. And peace can also kind of coincide with awareness, where at first it's like, oh shit, this is how I'm showing up. I don't want to show up this way. And then knowing that, it feels like at first uncomfortable. You might feel some feelings of shame or like embarrassment. And then you realize like, but I have a choice. And I like that part of me. Keeping in mind where we have these perspectives. And sometimes our perspectives are based off of life experiences. And sometimes they're based off the influences of our family, of our friends. When we form our belief system from these experiences, it shows us a way of how we approach life and how situations come about. As you're probably learning now, the ELI uncovers the filters that you develop, Amanda, and also how they're influencing your life consciously or unconsciously. And the 2 elements of how it is done is the number 1, your energy profile, which is the typical way you show up on just a given day, feeling good, high vibing, and then your energetic stress reaction. So that's when tension comes. That's when like I say, life be lifing. How do you kind of snap into that and being able to recognize like, oh, I just snapped. the sooner, the quicker, then the abilities for you to be like, I want to change it. Again, there is no good and bad, and we'll get into the different levels and the advantages and disadvantages of those levels, which is so dope because it shows us like, no, I wanted to snap in this situation because my life was at stake.
Mm-hmm.
Or I did snap at that situation because I was fearful that I wasn't making enough money or I won't be able to take care of myself. That makes complete sense. It allows you to inspire yourself and others with that awareness. And the more conscious you are, the more engaged you are, the less stress you have. Life can still be lifing around you because now you're aware, like I know why I'm mad. Yeah. And I'm gonna be mad. Totally different from I am pissed off. Why am I pissed off? I'm always a scaredy cat. Like, why can't I just woman up? What is wrong with me? Completely different energies.
Right.
So instead of judging things good and bad or right or wrong, it gives you an opportunity to look at situations of how can I be productive? How can I make this occurrence the best for me? Any questions so far?
Nope.
All right, cool. So understanding energy, which is part 3. There are 2 types of energy, and I feel like you already read them. What are the 2 types?
Oh,
no.
catabolic.
Yes.
I
And
had to look. I
anabolic.
would not have remembered anabolic.
But you use your resources, and that's all that matters. So catabolic is that tearing down force. It is the destructive type of energy, and it associated with stress. There are advantages and disadvantages. Now, the anabolic energy is the building up, it is the constructive energy force, and it deals with less stress. And when the brain isn't under stress, it tells the body to release anabolic hormones that are designed to optimize, to improve the body's ability to create systems in place for you to actually do whatever the doing is.
Huh. So that makes sense why people who have a lot of stress all the time might get sick, because they're not really letting their body get into that building and repairing phase.
Yes. So people don't realize the more I yell, the more I'm like frantic, the more I'm rushing around. You're literally doing a workout. Like, and it doesn't compute to them, but it takes your body a lot of energy. And like you said, what is helping to build that body up? If you're constantly doing that, when does it actually rest? Because then you got to go into sleep patterns too.
Mm-hmm.
Are you actually sleeping efficiently? Like, is your body or is your brain constantly running? When we look at situations from an anabolic energy level, you also get to feel less judgment. You actually get to see things as, oh, things are just occurring. It's not occurring to me. It's not happening to me. You have less stress too. Now, the biggest thing to recognize is that all 7 levels of energy are in every single human. If you turn to page 11, we'll go to part 5, which are your results. And this is where we're going to spend a lot of time because it's 7 levels of energy and we're going to dive deep into each one.
All right.
Okay, so your energetic profile, which is your overall energy, that's the top chart. And the energetic stress reaction is the bottom chart, is how you show up when you're triggered, activated, stressed. And the blue bars represent the amount of energy you have in each level. So the top chart, which is your everyday chart, what are the 2 longest bars that you have? What numbers are those?
Level 4 and level 5.
4 and 5. All right. And just FYI, this is a representation of what currently is, but it's not a prediction of what will be in the future. Again, the goal is to always increase our awareness and expand how we want to. Individual with a similar profile takes little personally. They see potential in others and become providers to serve them at their request. So let's look at your bottom chart. The chart shows the typical way that you respond to stress or how you experience stress. And what are your 2 longest bars for that?
My 1 is the longest by far, and then there's a big dip down, and the next one is 4.
Okay. A client with a similar profile might avoid confrontations.
Yes.
And that is completely normal, completely normal. So knowing that, and you know something's happening or occurring, you could be like, nope, not doing it. And avoidance could look a variety of ways. Did you listen to my recent episode?
If it was in the past like 3 weeks, no.
Okay, literally my last episode is instead of avoiding, advance.
Ooh,
So it talks
okay.
about avoiding conversation because I actually was avoiding conversation. I'm like, I'm doing it again. And yeah, so that's very helpful. So looking at those two charts, what impressions did you have after reading that?
um, I was glad that for the top chart, even though my average came out more in the threes, I was happy to see that I still had like pretty high scores in 4, 5, and 6. That
Mm-hmm.
my starting point is pretty decent. Um, wasn't surprised that level 2 is low on both because I tend to not be an angry person, and part of that probably is the non-confrontational part
Mm-hmm.
of me. For the bottom chart, I guess, I guess, I want to know why level 1 is so big for me because on the self perception chart it said that's apathy, and so
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of curious how that manifests in myself.
Well, that's where we're actually going to start. Pretty much everybody I talk to has high level 1. And it is about avoiding confrontation, but the level 1 is the lowest level of catabolic energy. And it's also described as feeling stuck, fearful, lack of choice. You might hear people say, I can't do this, or they may feel like they're carrying everything. Again, advantages and disadvantages. So the advantage of level 1 is it can protect us from experiencing discomfort. Unfortunately, avoidance and disengagement can impact levels of enjoyment and also feeling satisfied and can prevent people from taking action and engaging in their life. When do you feel like you experience level 1?
Hmm. I think I do tell myself I can't sometimes. It's something I'm getting better at, but I think I do feel like I have a lot of like unfulfilled checklists or things I want to do, and maybe I believe that I just can't do those right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kind of sticks out to me.
Level 2 is a catabolic energy and it's characterized as conflict. Like you say, you're not a very confrontational type of person. And it is amount of energy that is that fighting energy and resisting. Now, the perspective is everything is viewed as black or white, right or wrong. There is judgment of good and bad at level 2. And people from a win-lose frame of mind feel anger, resentment, entitlement, frustration, and they may feel like the need to protect themselves so others won't take advantage of them. Advantage of level 2, because all of them have advantages and disadvantages, is level 2 energy enables people to get a lot of stuff done. People often say, like I said, work well under stress, but success can come at a cost.
Hmm.
And since motivation is forced, the results are not sustainable and they eventually impair motivation, levels of satisfaction, productivity of others. Hearing that level 2 energy, how does it show up for you, Amanda?
Um, I don't know. I'm not angry a lot. I don't like to think in black and white.
I mean,
I'm
your
always
numbers were
trying to
low.
think. Yeah, I'm always trying to think. Even if someone is being irritating, I'm always trying to think why they might be irritating, or what might be stuck in their craw, or what's going on for them that's making
Yeah.
them this way. So I don't. Honestly, I would think that I have more anger and those kind of stress activated feelings towards myself than anyone else.
Mm.
Sort of like a, you need to get this done. You're going to be hampering yourself if you don't get this done. That kind of thing.
And when you do show that level 2 for yourself, what would be the benefit in you changing the amount of level 2 you show yourself?
just being kinder to myself and for my actions to feel more joy centered than obligation centered, or like I'm having to prove something about myself.
So allowing yourself to come from a place of peace and joy and giving that to yourself.
Hmm.
So what you seek, you're basically, if you were to change the amount of level to energy, what you seek, you could actually give to yourself. Is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, I think so. This has
All
been
right.
really fun for me too. So,
Yay. So, all right, we're still in, we're in part 6 actually. So the wrap up portion. So after looking at your report, I made some notes and I wanted to share them with you if that's cool with you,
yeah.
Amanda. All right. So I saw someone who is a creator, non-judgmental, and is filled with love and appreciation for her life. Those close to you are a part of you, and you're recognizing that they have helped to create and shape who you are. And like I say, when life is lifing, you may experience stressors that activate those energetic stress reactors, which leads you to feeling that in order for you to get what you want, you need to fight for it. And at times you replay events in your head, wishing you could have acted differently. So as you heard my observations, what stands out for you?
All of it feels spot on. I think the part about people being a part of me and being sort of the reason I am today resonates a lot with me. It kind of synthesizing multiple elements. A creative project I've been working on is a short story collection that is very much focused on like reimagining family tales. So it's very much kind of a study of like heritage and like the parts that make up us and me. Um, uh, yeah, there's something in the stressor category that also really resonated as well, but that all feels spot on.
All right, and now based on your ELI report in today's conversation, what did you learn about yourself?
Um, I think I learned I'm pretty cool. I'm usually too hard on myself, so I think kind of highlighting a lot of the good things about myself, and like you said, it's not necessarily good and bad, but recognizing a lot of healthy tendencies I have, perhaps,
Yes.
is helpful. Now it's just getting myself to remember that, not always putting this pressure on myself to produce, create, be the best all the time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you're pretty intelligent. So as you say, remembering that, what comes to mind to help you put that into action to remember it?
um, I don't know. I struggle with how to remember that, or I might remember it but not feel it. I still think I have to produce, I have to create, I have to prove that I'm this, and this. Do you have any advice?
It's another question. Where did that thought come from? That you have to prove, you have to produce.
Mm, definitely from like childhood and such. I was always the best. I was always the achiever. And I think, yeah, I think that's still very much ingrained in me.
So what I'm hearing is you were placed with the label and the title, and that's where the weight of the world on your shoulders of holding up to that image and holding on to that title.
Yeah.
So it makes sense of proving yourself to keep that title.
Hmm.
The question would be, is that title serving you?
No, it makes life a little more miserable.
And what would it feel like to not feel miserable?
It would feel great. Like sometimes when I wake up in the morning, my first thought's usually like what I have to do. Almost, yeah,
Mm.
like to kind of prove myself that day, to kind of make that day
Mm.
worthwhile. And so sometimes I wake up and think, like, what if what if you could just be joyful today? And it's hard to access that throughout the day, but at times when I just get flashes of it, it feels so nice.
Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. What comes to mind is, do you want to be joyful or not? Do you want to hold on to that title or not? You get to decide. And all of us have consciously or unconsciously attached ourselves to a title. For me, I was the good one.
Mm-hmm.
I was the one who, I was scared. I was afraid to get in trouble. It wasn't that I wanted to be good. I wanted to explore. I didn't like being punished. That was my motivation. So it sounds like your motivation currently is the punishment.
Mm-hmm.
You're literally creating the punishment. You're avoiding or not allowing yourself to feel that joy and that peace. However, it makes sense why you're not. That's a heavy title to hold on to. And it gave you something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Being the best at things did give me something. But
Ooh, you said did. So
right.
again, it's the awareness of it did serve a purpose, and forgiving yourself and allowing yourself that grace of, yes, I maybe my parents didn't check into everything that I was doing because I was the good one. So I wasn't always scrutinized and like, what are you up to? What are you? It's like, oh, Crystal's good. She's not gonna do anything. But then when I did want to do stuff, they was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just want a boyfriend. The fuck? Like, so then I started noticing, like, but I want the boyfriend. I want to explore things with my friends. I want to do that. I don't know if I like it or not. I got curious about me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would encourage you to get curious about this current Amanda. Still dope as shit based on your past. Still creating currently. Who is this current Amanda? And what does she want right now? And you get to change your motherfucking mind. It doesn't have to stay the same. And that's a big one too, of like you saying yes. You could have played pickleball and be like, oh my gosh, I hate this.
Mm-hmm.
And then be like, yay, I hate this. I'm going back to play basketball. Like the goal is to figure ourselves out, and you're not stupid, dumb, whatever those words might be, because you try something new. You found clarity. I hope, does that do anything for you? Does that provide?
Yeah, it does. Just in the way that I think that like the people closest to me are parts of me. I've always kind of believed that our past moments kind of build up to our present self. And
Oh
I
yeah.
think that's true, but I think I could examine how current Amanda has diverged from past Amanda and the parts of past Amanda that just don't really apply anymore.
Correct. Yes. All right. So before we close today's session, what questions do you have for me?
What advice do you have for sensing my energy in a moment and shifting?
So sensing the energy, um, give me an example.
Like, let's say, hmm, since this seems to be my sort of de facto mindset, maybe I'm kind of in this like responsibility obligation mindset. And like I'm good, I'm not at a level 1 or 2. I'm having a good day and all that, but like, and feeling in a good mood, but kind of recognizing that I'm kind of putting a ceiling on my energy with that responsibility feeling. How do
Mm,
I guess I really the shifting part, the
got
recognizing I
you.
think I can do, but the
That's what
shift,
I was
how
about
do
to
I
say.
make
I
it
hear
stop?
The question, so it is definitely going back to what I said of being curious about the current Amanda, and you just asking the question, you're already doing it. It is getting curious. That is number one. So if you're feeling like, oh, case in point, you actually caught yourself. You said, oh man, you said something about the negative emotions or positive. That's what you said. You was like, oh, well, it's not about negative or positive. So you are aware of it, but you're also shifting it because you changed your verbiage. So when you feel a certain feeling of, oh, it's fine, and you hear yourself say it, you then have a choice to say, is it fine? Start asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a good point. I know someone who has it's a very unfortunate relationship between this individual and their mother-in-law, where the root of it is both parties are hurt. And the individual is afraid to go fully vulnerable. Like, we used to be very close. This is not me. Me and my mother-in-law were tight. But this individual's like, they were friends. They would drink together, like get some wine, whatever. And then something happened where their relationship just kind of drifted apart. And now this woman's individual like life is around picking apart what her mother-in-law is doing and not doing. And I hear it often. And I'm just like, have you asked yourself, do I like this? Is this what I want our relationship to be? So it's still uncomfortable. However, you keep complaining about it too. So that person might be getting joy out of that complaining. The question back to you, Amanda, is asking yourself the question, is this actually fine? Do you keep talking about the same thing over and over and over and over again? And you can use people that you love to help you be more accountable and aware, just like your wife pointed out. Oh, you have so many opportunities. It's like, oh, thank you for that. Because there's no way you can do all this on your own.
Mm-hmm.
That is why we have me as a coach. That's why you have a therapist. That's why you have mentors. That's why you have friends, family. But it comes from you saying, hey, I want to be more mindful of myself. Whenever you hear me say blah, 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 whenever you see me, I'm giving you permission to hold me accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So communicating that with yourself and others is the biggest takeaway that I can give. And I've given to multiple people because they'll say, how do I do it? How do I? Like, you could do it to a certain extent. But have you ever like lost some weight and you're like working out, and you're like, I do not see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go somewhere, everybody is telling you, you lost so much weight. How much weight did you lose? How much? You're like, how do y'all see it?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're so up close to it, you're missing the tiny shifts that are happening day to day. But other people haven't seen you in like a week or a month, and they'll notice the change in a heartbeat.
Right.
But when you are so close to it, it does become difficult to actually see it. So that's why having a coach, that's why having someone there who is invested in your growth and is watching and holding you accountable. Look, you said your goal was this and you're still stuck here. What's keeping you from moving forward?
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and I don't think I've really brought other people into that like self growth process before. I've always very much lone wolfed it and done it on my own. So I think that could be really helpful to have that outside perspective.
And it's connective and it's what you like, especially you giving to people. You're giving them something to do. They love you. They're going to be like, yes, I want to help.
Yeah.
So yeah, gift yourself that.
Sweet. I'll do it.
Yay! I am excited to hear the growth that comes from this. Again, like I tell my clients, growth happens in between the sessions. So it's going to keep coming. You got my number. You could text me, you could message me, and feel free to share this with other people, especially your experience and what you learned from it, because we don't know what we don't know. So you just giving me the opportunity to share this with the people of the Unstuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons podcast I told you, as soon as I read the text, I was like, Devon, she's trying to make me cry. Because you don't know until you experience it. Like, I could talk about it all day. So, any other takeaways you want to share?
I just feel really good right now. Yeah. I just feel good. I feel like I like myself a lot and like I'm in the driver's seat. Um, yeah, I'm excited for that growth that comes between sessions. I'm excited to think about these things. Also, I
I'm
think
so
that you're
excited.
awesome and the best person ever.
Same. And that's why we keep talking. That's why we keep talking. Energy attracts like energy. Like, thank you so much, Amanda. Like, you're meant to receive all that you ask for, like that joy, that center, like that mind of peace. I experience it more regularly, and all I want is other people who are interested in experience it. So thank you for allowing me to kind of open that jar for you, so then you could just spread it around the world, which you do best anyways.
No, thanks. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Peeps, how dope was that? Like, thank each and every one of you for listening this far. And it is my hope that somewhere in between this conversation, you share this with your friend, your team member, maybe your team lead, your HR homies, to offer this real, like just this in real life experience of the IPEC Energy Leadership Index assessment, and thinking about what your results would be to start that first step. So how could this change your current perspective? How could this change your current situation to move, to choose a different action? So again, click the link in the bio to begin your energy leadership journey now. And in closing, awareness without action is worthless. And this is quoted by Phil McGraw. As we wrap this up, remember, stuck moments appear when awareness is feared. Instead, click that link in the bio, y'all. I'm not going to say it again. Unstuck yourself here. Fly free, peeps. See you next week.